So welcome to 2022, guys. Okay, look, indulge me for a couple of minutes because I want to talk about our exciting 2022 kit. I want to share the design philosophy for it, the inspiration behind it, how we went about doing it, and ultimately, if it works. I want to throw in some fashion hot takes. You never know, there could potentially be a rant in here somewhere. Anyway, sit back, let's do it. So how do you start designing a kit? Well, for me, it starts with something called a design philosophy, which essentially boils down to some themes or some ideas that you want the kit to represent. And for this version, there was really two distinct themes that we wanted to cover. And the first was what had gone before us, which was 2020 and 2021, which were just confusing, frustrating experiences. And I'm talking about in a bike sense, okay? They just were frustrating, confusing, yeah. And the second is it's more a moment. So just let me explain for a moment. As many of you guys will probably remember, some of the most successful racing that we've done as a team and as a squad was up at the National Cup at the end of 2020. It was an incredibly successful 10 days of racing. On the road, we won the most stages the team had ever done, so there was that sort of achievement. But I think as a group, we all felt like that was the moment this squad really came together. But then there was Ben's crash, and I'm not going to go into the details of that again. You can go check out the chat that I had with him on the channel. I'll put that link below. But that particular moment that happened, the chaos, the confusion, almost the crackling. For me and for the guys who created the team, that felt like the day that this team became something else. It sort of grew its next lifespan in a sense. But we're not leaving everything behind. Obviously, we're not leaving our colours behind. That jacaranda and the sandstone are very much part of our story, the establishment story of this team, and will always play a part in our team. So with all the touchy-feely stuff out of the way, what happens next? What happens in real practical terms? Well, the next step is designing the actual kit. Now, this is the first time that we've dealt directly with a professional designer. In the past, Luke and I have just sort of bashed out a design. You know, neither of us are professional designers, and you could probably tell that. We had to keep things pretty simple. But in practical terms, what does that mean? Well, it means Zoom meetings with a designer, and the designer, one of the best, I might add, Ashley over in London. Well, I give her that little spiel that I gave you about the design philosophy, but then she wants inspiration. She wants looks of what the type of thing is that we're after. And there's two here that I want to share with you that you can probably pick up some similarities with now. And the first is one of my design icons who I kind of have a bit of a man crush on, and that's Pharrell Williams. I just really love Pharrell's style. I love his music. I love the way that he kind of pushes the boundaries in a really fun, tongue-in-cheek way. Some of his human race collaborations with Adidas, and some of those late 90, early 2000 NERD video clips. And the second one is a design house called Patta. Now, Patta have done some really cool takes on European football jerseys. And what I liked about them is they took some really traditional football jerseys and made them into some designy type looks. And in a way, that's kind of what I wanted to do, because we had some very structured stuff in the previous iterations of the jersey, and I wanted to turn that around a bit. At this point, guys, this is where the rubber meets the road. You've heard me rant in the past about how boring pro team kits are. Okay, you've heard me rant about it. You'll hear me rant about it for decades to come. But there's a reason pro team kits are so boring. People pay money to be on the jersey, and no sponsor wants to be hidden away behind some pattern that completely blows out their logo. They've paid good money to be on there. They would prefer the jersey to basically just be their logo. So this is where I give a massive, shout to everyone involved in this team in 2022, all the partners, because They're taking this leap with us. We've got some established partners on here like KOM, like KWT, and we've got some new guys on here like Lush Desserts and Flip. And I'm sure when they all saw this design, they went, what the actual is this? This is where I love trying to lift the curtain on this stuff for you guys, because yeah, this is where this sort of thing gets interesting. One of the things that we did is obviously put all our sponsors on the bib shorts as well, to make sure there was at least some black on white logoing for everyone. But it's also just negotiation. I mean, negotiations had to change between what your partner agreements were in previous years to this year, because it's a different representation. And we totally knew that going in with the philosophy that we had for this jersey. So I wanted to say that to you guys, because it's something that easily gets forgotten when people go, oh, the jersey's so boring, it's so crap. There's a reason. There's a reason. It's probably a fight they didn't want to have. And you guys should all go and buy everything that all these sponsors do, because they're taking that leap with us and letting us have fun. So if we break this down really simply, you're really dealing with two layers here, aren't you? You've got the pattern, and then you have the design over the top of that. And that's more the Pharrell look, specifically with the new logo, the new drop shadow on the logo, and that sun rebirthy type thing. You can kind of see where that might be going. So ultimately, does it work? Biggest challenge with any pattern type thing on your kit, right, is paneling. So what I mean by that, a jersey is not just one piece of material. Like, it's like cut here, there's a piece of material for the back, there's a piece of material for the sleeves. And when you're dealing with like a hallucinogenic pattern such as this, it's even kind of more challenging, because then people look at it, oh, that bit doesn't match up to that bit. Well, it's not meant to. Personally, I think we actually nailed that. I really am happy with the way the pattern actually plays out on the body. I knew going in, putting the logo down around the gut, right? Let's be honest, down around the gut, that there's going to be photo angles where it doesn't quite work because it's down here. You know, it's going to be great when someone posts up and does the big, you know, here we go, I've won a race, got a big Nero sign in there. That's going to work. But there'll be moments when that photo looks kind of weird, because it's like this sort of wrappy around your gut thing. And then if you've got any gut hanging down, then it'll just accentuate it. So that's probably a TBC. And the final thing I'll say about it, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But the reason I say I'd love to hear your thoughts on it and I'm sitting here going, is because it's really, really hard to get what it looks like on camera. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was putting some photos up of it the other day, and I'm like, that's not really what it looks like from that angle. And then you kind of get the photo from that angle, and it's like, oh, there you go, that's a better angle. Oh, but that doesn't show that. But putting aside whether you like the look of the kit, I'm really interested to know if you like the theory behind the design and whether you like me sharing that kind of stuff with you. Because for me, this is really interesting, but I'm sure maybe for many of you, you're not that interested. Now, again, if you've got any questions about how to come up with designs and stuff like that, I'd love to help you out with that. I'm always into that kind of thing. And yes, I want to do some more Fashion Friday in 2022. Just got to get my head around some new stuff, okay? And finally, guys, we've got Bakerits coming up and Nationals coming up, which will be your first opportunity to see this in the flesh. Until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Talk soon.